and this may in part explain why we all might feel we know and encounter many narcissists, but only an estimated 5% of people have NPD, because why would they?
Okay, so the best sign that I'm not one is that I think I could be one.
Yes.
Well, actually, no, because
Oh, no,
apparently
shit.
the way that's clinical diagnosis. Apparently, the best way to work out if someone's a narcissist, the quickest way is to ask them, because most narcissists know they are but don't think it's a problem. So
Look,
narcissists
I've made this whole
aren't.
segment about me.
There are 3 things I can ask you to check if you're a narcissist.
I
Okay.
love it. Do it,
Question
Jessie.
number 1. Do you feel?
I don't have room in my life for another disorder.
No. See, this is going to disqualify
go
you.
on.
Do you feel like your emotions, like when you cry, when you're angry, do you feel like they're genuine?
Yes.
You cry too much for a narcissist. A narcissist has to put on all emotion. So you're too emotional to be a narcissist.
I think that's a psychopath. Anyway, go
The
on.
second question is, do you think that every person in the world has equal inherent worth? Or do you look at
Well,
people?
I have to say yes, don't I?
That's a big question for a Friday.
I
that
have to
one.
say yes because the
How
mics are
could
on.
how could she possibly say
That's
no?
very deep, that
Yes.
question.
Yes. So a narcissist only sees people in terms of hierarchies. So everyone they meet, they're like, are you the bottom of the hierarchy or the top of the
Oh,
hierarchy?
no, I don't think that. I don't think like that at all. Oh,
Um,
thank God.
and the third one is they often think that narcissists are people who love themselves. That's not necessarily true. Narcissists are people who think they are better than everyone else. So which one? You can be quite
I'm
self-absorbed.
better than some people, but I'm
Worse
not
than
better
others.
than most people. I'm not better than.
So
Most people I'm so much worse than.
So you're not a narcissist.
Okay,
Why
so-
are we obsessed with narcissists at the moment?
And what's the difference between a narcissist and a psychopath? Because
I can tell you
I remember
that.
a few years ago, I did an interview with a guy who'd written a book about psychopaths.
Mm.
And so many people I know were like, and is a narcissist the new psychopath, or are they quite different?
Psychopaths cannot distinguish between right and wrong. They literally can't. And they have real difficulty experiencing any kind of remorse or
Mm.
empathy.
And they can't learn it, whereas
Yeah.
a narcissist can learn it.
You can't, they literally can't. They're like looking at you and they're like, I don't
Sounds like a
recognize you as
narcissist
human.
can fake it too. Is that what you're saying? They can use their emotions to be manipulative?
Psychopaths can as well. And in the Venn diagram, there are a few overlapping things. But the difference as well is that a psychopath is more likely to actually be violent or like cross the line. A narcissist won't. They don't kind of need to be.
So are we throwing around narcissists so much at the moment? Because one thing I know about narcissist, using the word narcissist, is some people find it very triggering. Some people are like, don't laugh about that. Don't tease about that.
A
You know, I
narcissist
used to
ruined
be
my
married
life.
to
Yep.
a narcissist and it ruined my life. Or my mother was a narcissist and it ruined my life. It's a serious thing. But has it entered the lexicon now, like the way we commonly talk to each other about everything every day, to a point where it's become meaningless? Or is it true that, as the author suggests, we've all become more narcissistic as a culture because of things like we were talked about this the other day. I can't remember what the context was. Oh, it was about the people doing the getting ready with
Yeah,
me videos
the
for their
funerals.
funeral. And so
Social media
has made
is
us all more narcissistic.
and algorithms and the internet has made us all more narcissistic
Ruined
because
everything.
for better and worse, it's given everybody an equal voice. So the New York Times has an Instagram account. So does Holly Wainwright. So does Jane Smith.
Mm.
And everybody can write a blog. Everybody can publish photos of themselves. Everybody can be an influencer, whether or not they're a successful influencer. But it was a little bit like Bo Burnham's movie about that teenager who like, hey guys, welcome to my channel. And there's like no one watching her channel. She tries to be a YouTuber. So it's the idea of everyone's performing all the time for an audience because we are. Even if you're just a regular person with a Facebook page and you're posting some pictures of your holiday, we're all making content for an audience. So haven't we collectively turned the camera around to ourselves to make it a mirror rather than looking out a window?
It's a scale. And in terms of the scale, we're culturally moving up. So the research suggests that narcissistic traits are on the increase, which doesn't necessarily mean that narcissistic diagnoses or like being an actual narcissist is different to that, right? So
Yeah, although as this literature was saying, we don't actually know how many
No.
people are actual narcissists because of the whole self-diagnosis.
Yes.
Someone is going to. Does
Re-
that mean that being diagnosed as a narcissist is a privilege? Sorry.
Definitely.
I'm trolling. Go on.
Research suggests that men are more likely to be
What a surprise.
to be narcissists than women. Whereas in terms of the tendencies, obviously during adolescence and when the brain hasn't fully developed, you are more narcissistic.
Well,
That's
babies are the most narcissistic people of all.
yes,
Because they literally can't distinguish
That's so
anything that
true.
isn't them. Like it's just me.
Have you met a toddler?
Me.
Exactly. It's just me. And that they all are. And sometimes you'll look at maybe your own child or someone else's and go, you're a monster.
you're
And
so
it's-
self-absorbed.
They just have not learnt yet to hide their narcissism.
Yes, they are 100 on the narcissism scale. My mum was recently at Esther Perel. Esther Perel is, of course, she's a relationship expert. She's an author. She
Talks
has
about
a
sex.
podcast.
She's got a beautiful accent.
Yes, she's amazing. She's just listened to everything
I
she has
love
to
her.
say about relationships. But someone said my ex was a narcissist and then went on to ask a question. And Esther Perel said, I'm going to stop you there. Please don't use terms like that so flippantly. It's not helpful. What I want you to do is go back to the beginning of that question and ask me what you want without using that term, because it's become this cultural shorthand that conflates a whole bunch of different things and it's not helping our understanding of each other.
Right. So
Which I
it's
think is true.
it's misused because it's an actual disorder, narcissism, but we now use it as a loose personality
Like
trait.
OCD.
Yeah, like I'm so OCD or I'm so ADHD.
Yes, for everyone,
Yeah.
which isn't right. Sometimes it's like, taking a selfie can make you a narcissist. Or Meghan Markle does one interview and it's like, well, look at you talking about Meghan.
But you can be narcissistic. You can do a narcissistic thing
And not be a narcissist.
and not be, because it's a bit like toxic, cancelled. It's one, and again, another one of those words that just sort of completely writes someone off forever.
Yeah.
It feels
Oh,
irredeemable.
It's a bad thing.
Yeah.
And then that's back to a very bad thing. And that's back to that people will tell you the stories of the narcissists they've encountered is with no humor or affection. They're
Yeah.
like those. And, back to Donald Trump, because as I say, he's the most pure example I can think of. There is no question. You look into that man's soul as much as you can. There is nothing else there except for Donald. Right?
I think
Nothing.
he's such a good example of it. And I remember reading so much about it at the time when he was president and I was obsessed. And they talk about the most dangerous time for a narcissist is when they've had a narcissistic injury. So for example, that's when they can
Yes.
behave in incredibly unpredictable and dangerous ways. So for example, when he lost the election, that was a very big narcissistic injury because it challenged his view of himself as a winner and as the top of the hierarchy. So that's when he started to say the election's been stolen and, allegedly incited the riot on Capitol Hill. Well, didn't allegedly, actually did. Because the injury was so grievous and that's when he behaved really badly. So
Are we using it too much?
We definitely are, but I also understand why, because I just think that we need to use the language more intentionally. So someone can have narcissistic tendencies or traits, but to dismiss them as a narcissist is dangerous and we should probably do less of that. But I reckon
it's just a bit lazy, isn't it?
every well-balanced person, usually people who have a social media account, are battling with their own narcissism every day. I feel
Definitely.
like I am really
Hard to
trying, to keep it at bay, and I can feel it coming up. And self-absorption is a trait I hate, and I see it in myself, and I try and go, ugh. And I think a lot of people can relate with that.